Can I ask you something a little personal? Have you ever walked into a room and then forgotten why you went in? Or maybe you were in the middle of a story and suddenly the next word just vanished. You see, after 30 years as a neurologist, I can tell you something most people never hear from their doctor. That kind of forgetfulness is not just getting older, it's your brain asking for help. And the good news? You can help it in just 1 minute a day. Hi, I'm Dr. James, and for the past 3 decades, I've helped thousands of older Americans strengthen their memory, regain balance, and think clearly again. Not with expensive pills, not with hours of brain games, but with small, powerful, daily movements that reawaken areas of the brain that most people have been neglecting for years. In this video, I'm going to share 5 movements that take just 1 minute a day but can bring back sharp thinking, balance, and focus. Even if you're in your 70s or 80s. So let me ask, have you ever experienced that sudden blank moment where your mind just stopped? Leave a comment with a 1 if you felt it, or a 0 if you haven't. I'd like to hear your story, and if this message speaks to you, tap that subscribe button because I promise your brain deserves more support than it's been getting. Number 1, why a simple toe movement changed my patient's life. Let me tell you about a man named Richard. Richard is 74 years old. When he first came to see me, he walked slowly, carefully. Not because his legs were weak, he still had muscle strength, but his steps were unsure. He had to watch the floor while walking. He told me, "Doc, I feel like my body doesn't trust itself anymore." You know what broke my heart the most? It wasn't just that he stumbled or forgot things. It was that he stopped doing the things he loved. He used to garden, visit neighbors, even play cards. Now he stayed home, afraid of losing control. That's when I knew it wasn't just about muscles, it was about his brain. You see, most people don't realize this, but when we stop moving parts of our body intentionally, we send a message to the brain. This area doesn't matter anymore. And the brain listens, especially in the cerebellum. That's the part that controls balance, coordination, and attention. If we don't stimulate it, the connections begin to fade. And then we lose more than just balance. We lose confidence. So I gave Richard a strange homework assignment. Every morning I told him, before you get out of bed, I want you to move your toes deliberately. Lift them up, press them down, open and close. 1 minute only. He raised an eyebrow and said, "You mean wiggling my toes will fix my mind?" I smiled. "It won't fix everything, but it might just flip the switch back on." And here's what happened. 2 weeks later, Richard came in smiling. He said, "Doc, I don't know what's going on, but I feel steadier, like my brain caught up with my body. I even walked out to the mailbox without holding the rail." That may not sound like much, but if you've ever been afraid of falling, you know how huge that is. It turns out, research backs this up. In a 2022 study, published by the New York Times Health section, seniors who practiced deliberate toe movements daily showed significant improvements in balance, foot-brain connection, and even memory recall. Why? Because the brain doesn't age the way we think. It's not about the number on your birthday cake. It's about how often you activate the neural highways that support mobility and memory. And the toes? They're one of the most powerful on-ramps to the cerebellum. So let me ask you something. When was the last time you thought about your toes? When was the last time you gave your body a signal that said, "Hey, I'm still here. I want to move. I want to stay sharp." You don't need a gym. You don't need special shoes. Just 1 minute, right where you're sitting, even now. You could do it with me as you listen. Lift your toes, hold for 5 seconds, press them down, then roll them gently across the floor. Open and close like a wave. That's it. That's the signal. Because sometimes healing doesn't start with the brain. Sometimes it starts with your feet. If you've ever felt unsteady or disconnected, let me know in the comments. Just write, "That's me." You're not alone, and you're not stuck. Number 2, Your neck is the gateway to a clear mind. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine holding a garden hose. Water's flowing fine until you accidentally step on it or bend it too tight. Suddenly the water stops. The pressure builds. But the flowers at the other end don't get what they need. That's exactly what happens to your brain when your neck stiffens up as you age. You see, the neck isn't just where your head sits, it's the bridge, the highway that brings oxygen and nutrients to your brain. And when that bridge tightens up, your clarity, your memory, even your emotional balance all take a hit. Many of my patients come to me and say, "Doctor, I just feel foggy. I can't explain it." So I ask them, "Have you had neck pain lately? Do you sit in one position for too long?" Almost always the answer is yes. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's 69, lives alone in Ohio, and loves crossword puzzles. But lately, she said the words didn't click like before. No stroke, no Alzheimer's. But when I checked, her neck was stiff as a board. Years of sitting at her kitchen table hunched over, and she didn't even notice. So I showed her a technique. It's simple. You can do it right now as you listen. Sit tall. Turn your head gently to the right. Hold 5 seconds. Back to center. Then to the left. Hold. Now, tilt your chin upward like you're looking at the ceiling. Hold. Then slowly tuck your chin toward your chest. Breathe in. Breathe out. That's one full cycle. Repeat it twice, and that's 1 minute of renewed blood flow to your brain. Sarah did this twice a day for 10 days, and on day 11 she called me. "Doctor," she said, "I don't know if it's in my head, but I did today's crossword faster than I have in months." It wasn't in her head, it was to her head. A study published by Harvard Health in October 2023 confirmed that neck flexibility directly impacts cognitive function in adults over 65. Poor circulation equals poor memory. But just a few minutes of mobility a day can reverse that trajectory. Let me ask you, have you ever felt mentally cloudy for no reason? Did you just brush it off as getting older? Because sometimes what your brain needs isn't more thinking, it needs more blood. And the pump that delivers it starts right here, at the base of your neck. This movement isn't a stretch. It's a signal. It tells your brain, "I haven't forgotten about you." And in return, your brain remembers you back. If you're willing to try this for 1 week, drop a neck in the comments. Let's see how many of us can wake up our minds. Not with pills, but with presence. Number 3, your tongue remembers what your mind forgets. Here's something most doctors never say. If you want to remember more, start with your tongue. Yes, the same tongue that helps you eat and speak is also connected to the deep memory circuits in your brain. You see, the tongue isn't just a muscle. It's one of the most densely innervated areas in your body. Thousands of nerve endings connected straight to the regions responsible for speech, processing, and memory. So when seniors tell me, "Nate, Doc, I know what I want to say, but I can't get the words out," I don't just look at their brain scans. I ask them to move their tongue. Let me tell you about Mr. Harris. He's 78, a retired teacher from Michigan. Sharp as a tack, but lately, he said, "I pause too long in conversations. I feel slow, like my mouth forgot how to catch up." His mind was active, but his tongue wasn't. So I gave him a neuro-linguistic activation drill. Sounds fancy, but here's what I told him. Every morning, before coffee or the news, do this. Stick out your tongue and hold for 5 seconds. Point it to the right, hold 5 seconds. Point it to the left, hold 5 seconds. Press the tongue firmly to the roof of your mouth, then relax. Repeat 3 times. Finally, roll the tongue in circles inside your mouth, clockwise, then counterclockwise. That's 1 cycle. Takes about 30 seconds. Do it twice. You've completed your brain's internal warm-up. By week 2, Mr. Harris came back and said, "I feel like my thoughts are landing on the runway again. Words come smoothly. I even cracked a joke before my grandson did. Now, that's not magic. That's neurology. When you activate the tongue deliberately, you send a rush of signals to the brain's Broca's area and hippocampus, centers responsible for forming speech and storing memory. It's like massaging your brain from the inside out. And the best part, you can do it anywhere. No gym, no equipment, just you and your breath. A 2021 study in the Journal of Cognitive Neuroscience found that deliberate tongue exercises enhanced verbal memory recall by up to 18% in adults over 65. That's nearly one-fifth improvement just by doing what your body already knows how to do. So let me ask you, have you ever had that frustrating moment where you know what you want to say, but the word just slips away? Leave a comment that says word gap if that's ever happened to you. You're not alone. And it doesn't mean you're slipping. It just means a part of your brain needs a wake-up call. And your tongue is holding the key. Try the drill tomorrow morning, before breakfast, before emails, before doubt creeps in, because a clear voice often starts with a clear connection, and you can start building it back right now. Number 4, your ears aren't just for hearing, they balance your brain. We don't usually think much about our ears until we can't hear clearly or until we start feeling dizzy and unsteady. But what if I told you your ears hold one of the most powerful keys to mental clarity? I'm not just talking about hearing, I'm talking about balance, spatial awareness, and your brain's ability to stay sharp and grounded. Inside your inner ear lives the vestibular system, a tiny, quiet organ that acts like your brain's internal compass. It tells your body where it is in space. It stabilizes your vision when you turn your head, and it keeps you upright, literally and mentally. When that system goes quiet, the world starts to feel unstable. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Edith, 82, from Kansas. She didn't come to see me for memory loss. She came because she said, "Doctor, I feel like I'm walking on a boat all the time." Her blood pressure was fine, her eyes were fine, but her ears and her brain's connection to them had grown sluggish. And that affected everything. She started avoiding stairs, stopped going out with friends, and soon, even conversation made her tired. But we didn't need a surgery or a prescription. We needed to wake up her vestibular system. And here's how we did it. The ear activation routine takes about 30 seconds. Sit comfortably. Gently pull both ears upward. Hold for 5 seconds. Then outward. Hold for 5 seconds. Then downward. Hold for 5 seconds. Finally, massage the outer edge of your ears in small circular motions for 15 seconds. That's it. Just like watering a flower that's been dry for too long, you start to feel the life come back. Mrs. Edith did this every morning for 3 weeks, and when she returned, I'll never forget what she said. "Doctor, I opened the curtains this morning and I didn't feel like the room was spinning. It felt still, and I felt steady." I smiled and said, "That's not your ears getting younger. That's your brain remembering how to listen." Because balance isn't just about standing straight, it's about thinking clearly, feeling centered, and showing up in the world with confidence again. In 2020, the Washington Post reported a clinical study from the University of Maryland showing that ear massage stimulates the vagus nerve, which not only improves balance, but also helps regulate anxiety, memory, and blood pressure in seniors. That means this isn't some quirky trick. It's real neuroscience, and it's in your hands, literally. So let me ask you, have you ever stood up and felt unsure of your footing, like your body and your brain were out of sync? Leave a comment with the word steady if you've ever felt that way, because sometimes a little pressure on your ears can relieve a whole lot of pressure in your mind. Try it now. No one's watching, and even if they were, you just look like someone wise enough to give their brain what it needs to feel balanced again. Number 5, the 1-minute routine that brought her mind back. There's a moment I'll never forget. A woman in her 80s, Ms. Lillian from Tennessee, came into my office with slow steps and downcast eyes. She didn't need to tell me what was wrong. Her hands trembled slightly. She struggled to finish her sentences. And when I asked her how she'd been doing lately, she looked at me and said softly, "I feel like I'm disappearing." That sentence, it stayed with me for days because I've heard the same thing in different forms from hundreds of older adults. Not just "I forget," not just "I stumble," but "I don't feel like myself anymore." So I asked her something simple. "Would you give me 1 minute of your day?" She laughed gently and said, "Doctor, if 1 minute could bring me back, I'd give you 10. And so we began. Instead of doing the toe movement under the neck stretch, the tongue drill, the ear massage separately, I showed her how to blend them like notes in a song, because in neurology, timing matters. When different parts of your brain light up together, they create stronger, longer-lasting pathways. It's like conducting a symphony. One instrument sounds nice, but when they all play together, your brain sings. So here's what we did, step by step, the 1-minute brain activation routine. While seated, she started with the toe lift. Up, hold, down, repeat. As her toes moved, she slowly turned her head left and right, then up and down. Then, while holding the toe press, she stuck out her tongue, moved it side to side, pressed it to the roof of her mouth. Finally, she massaged her ears in slow circular motions while breathing deeply. No strain, no rush, just presence. It took exactly 60 seconds. But what happened over the next 3 weeks was far greater. She returned to my office walking more confidently. She smiled more, and this time, when I asked her how she felt, she said, "I don't feel invisible anymore. I feel awake." That is the power of integration. Each small gesture speaks to a part of your brain. Movement awakens your cerebellum. Rotation refreshes your blood flow. Tongue triggers verbal memory. Ears reconnect your balance. But together, they remind your brain that life is still happening and that you're still here to live it. So let me ask you, would you be willing to give your brain 1 minute a day, not for perfection, but for presence? If so, write 1 minute in the comments, because when you show up for your brain, it shows up for you. Number 6, 3 simple add-ons that supercharge the brain in 1 minute. So now you know the 1-minute routine. But what if I told you you could make that 1 minute twice as powerful with just 3 simple changes? No pills, no gadgets, no extra effort. You can turn this routine into a full brain revival. I call them hydrate, breathe, listen. Let's break them down. 1. Hydrate. Water before movement. Here's a truth that too many seniors forget. Your brain is about 80% water. Without hydration, even the best exercises lose their power. That's why I tell my patients, drink a full glass of water before you do the routine. Why? Because water improves blood viscosity. That means better flow and better nutrient delivery to your brain. One study from Harvard Medical School, 2022, showed that even mild dehydration reduced cognitive performance in adults over 65 by nearly 15%. Just think, something as simple as drinking 8 ounces of water could mean the difference between mental fog and mental clarity. 2. Breathe. Your brain's oxygen switch. Most people breathe shallowly, especially when anxious, but your brain needs oxygen like a car needs fuel. So during your routine, I want you to try this. Inhale through your nose slowly for 4 seconds. Hold it for 2. Then exhale gently through your mouth for 6 seconds. This is called parasympathetic breathing. It calms your nervous system, reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and allows better neural communication in the hippocampus. your memory center. Try doing this while moving your toes, turning your neck, or massaging your ears. You'll feel the difference. You'll think more clearly. You may even sleep better that night. 3. Listen. Music unlocks memory. Here's something I share with every patient. If you want your brain to wake up, give it a reason to smile. Music does that. Studies from the Mayo Clinic show that seniors who listen to calming music during memory exercises retain more information, experience less anxiety, and feel more joy. It activates the limbic system, the emotional memory center. So play soft piano, classical guitar, or even nature sounds while you do your 1-minute routine. Let the rhythm guide you. Let the notes become part of your healing. These 3 additions may seem small, but together they amplify everything. You're not just doing a movement. You're creating an environment where your brain can grow, reconnect, and glow. So let me ask, would you be willing to add a glass of water, a deeper breath, and a soft tune? If it meant regaining the parts of yourself you thought were lost? Comment, hydrate, breathe, listen below. If you'll try adding just one of these to your routine, because sometimes it's not about doing more. It's about doing it with presence, with care, and with heart. Number 7, the 3 mistakes that quietly cancel out all your progress. You've come this far. You've learned the movements. You've felt the hope building. But I need to give you a gentle warning because I've seen this happen too many times, even to the most committed patients. Sometimes the reason a healing habit doesn't work isn't because it's wrong, but because of the way we approach it. Let me walk you through the 3 most common mistakes and how to fix them with kindness, not guilt. Mistake 1, rushing through the routine. We live in a fast world. Even in retirement, we're used to checking things off a list. So when I say 1-minute routine, some people treat it like a race. They wiggle their toes quickly, snap their neck side to side, flap their tongue, rub their ears like brushing dust away. But healing doesn't respond to speed. It responds to presence. Think of it like drinking tea. You don't gulp it down, you sip, you breathe, you savor. That's how the nervous system responds best. So slow down. Feel each motion. Count your breaths. Your brain will thank you. Mistake 2, forcing through pain. Here's what some people do. They push their head too far back. They pull their ears too hard. They press the tongue too tightly. Why? Because we're conditioned to think, if I don't feel something, it's not working. But with the nervous system, less is more. Gentle movement is not weak. It's wise. If something hurts, stop, adjust, soften. You're not a machine. You're a garden. And gardens don't bloom through force. They bloom through care. Mistake 3, giving up too soon. This one breaks my heart most of all. People try it for a few days. They feel a little lighter, a little clearer. Then life gets busy. The routine slips. And soon, the fog returns. And they say, maybe it didn't work after all. But healing isn't a one-time event. It's a conversation between you and your body. And conversations need consistency. So I always say, don't do it perfectly, just don't stop. Even if you miss a day, come back. Even if you feel tired, do half the movements. Because the brain doesn't need perfection, it needs reminders. And every time you show up, you remind your brain that you haven't given up. And that alone makes all the difference. So let me ask, which one of these mistakes do you recognize in yourself? Be honest, be kind, comment 1, 2, or 3, whichever one you've done before, because we've all done them. But now you have the awareness, and that's the first step to lasting change. If you've made it here with me, I want to tell you something from the heart. You are not broken. You are not fading. You're a human being. with a brain that's still listening, still responding, and still ready to grow. Maybe you felt tired, foggy, disconnected, but 1 minute a day, one moment of presence, one soft breath can remind every cell in your body you are still here. And that matters. What you did today wasn't just a routine. It was a message, a signal to your brain that it hasn't been forgotten, that you haven't given up on yourself. And I promise you, if you keep showing up, your brain will too. Now I want to hear from you. What changed for you after trying the 1 minute routine? Did you feel steadier, clearer, more you? Comment below. Even if it's one word, I read them all. Because your story might be the spark that helps someone else believe again. And if this video moved you, please send it to someone you love. Someone who says, I'm just getting old, or my brain doesn't work like it used to. Because they deserve to know it's not about age, it's about action. And before you go, I have to warn you about something serious. Many people are doing all the right things. They exercise, they rest, they even do brain routines like the one we just practiced. But there's one common vegetable found in nearly every senior's kitchen that may silently increase your risk of stroke, especially after age 60. It shocked me when I found the data, and it's likely not what you think. Click the next video here. This vegetable raises stroke risk after 60. It may be sitting in your fridge right now. And if you care about brain protection, you'll want to know the truth. Because protecting your brain starts long before it breaks down. It starts today with 1 minute, one habit, and one decision to keep learning. I'll see you there.